the day to vote. So it's Tuesday, November the 4th?
Fourth, yes.
The 4th. And it's getting a little ugly out there on the other side, isn't it?
It is. It's a little ugly.
So she's running against a woman
I-
named is it Chelsea Dickey?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But yeah, she tomorrow is the day to vote. Is early voting done, I guess, or
Yes, early voting's done. It finished on Saturday at 3 p.m. And make a plan, bring a friend, call your family members, remind them to go vote. It'll be open, if you wanna, you can go to my Facebook page or to the North Carolina Board of Elections to find out where you vote. You just put in your address and it'll tell you, give you directions to your polling station. You can same day vote. Make sure you bring your ID. Yeah, we need you to come out and vote and make a plan to get there. It's going to be open until, I think polls open at 6:30 and close at 7:30.
Yeah, and so, there have been a lot of accusations against you. And you said that some of the accusations have been over things that you have no control over and that you can't even do. So, I know people have heard of what a mayor is, but what is actually the job of a mayor?
Well, I can tell you that we don't have anything to do with the school system.
Okay.
County commissioners handle that. They are county schools, funded by county schools. It's either when another candidate is saying that the city of Graham is responsible for things like the mold problem and things like that, It's just ridiculous. That was a big issue that local people certainly understand and know. So you either have to say, well, they are severely unknowledgeable, I guess, or about
or they know what they're doing,
or they know what they're doing, and they're intentionally being deceitful to voters.
Well, and I'll give you an example because your opponent, who's running against you, she's much more on the Democratic side, right?
For sure.
But there has been talk that when she has knocked somebody, was it her or somebody who knocked on a Republican's door?
A voter.
Was she actually the one who knocked on her door?
Yes.
So your opponent knocked on a voter's door and she knew that they were Republican because you're able to look that up, like before you go to their door, and what happened?
The voter told me at the poll, they said, "Oh, I didn't know that you were running for re-election." I said, "Yes, of course." And they said, "Well, who is this Chelsea girl? This is a primary?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, when she came to my house, she already knew that I was a Republican, and that she said she was a conservative choice." And she didn't call herself Republican, but she said she was a conservative choice. And of course, that's not correct.
Yeah, I mean, and we've heard ugly things in politics for a while, but you're trying to do things the right way.
I am. And honestly, it's supposed to be a nonpartisan race. They've had their party there every single day of early voting. And they're the only party that has been there and really trying to, not just in Graham, but through the whole county, really trying to put forward a slate of people. And I hope that people will do the research on the candidates, find out who has actually been out here doing the work and been doing a lot of good things in Graham that they want to keep happening in Graham. I think we've been really successful financially. We've set records, largest tax decrease in the city's history.
Can you tell us a little bit about the tax decrease?
So we went from 45.5 cents to 28.9 cents. We were the only city that stayed revenue neutral during the tax reevaluation. So the county's taxes went up significantly, but Graham's tax went down significantly in order to be able to curb that. And if you don't own real estate, if you own a car, that meant your tax for your cars, your boats, your trailers, all of that basically got cut in half.
Yeah.
If you're a business owner and you pay personal property tax, that also got cut in half. And how we were able to afford to do that was that we do a lot of events in Graham. That was another thing that was an accusation, is that we stopped events in Graham. And again, Graham residents know that we do events literally every single weekend. There's an event in Graham. And when we advertise that really across North Carolina, we bring in a lot of visitors. They're all coming here buying things, and that drives sales tax up. We've increased sales in Graham by 50% over the last 4 years, and that is huge. I mean, most healthy cities hope to do 5%, and we've done 50%, and that obviously has made a lot of businesses here in Graham. We've tried to be business friendly, and if your sales tax goes up, then your property tax can come down. We've brought in the other source of revenue is grants, and we went to the state budget and met with our legislators to bring in over $19 million from the state budget for infrastructure costs.
Sure.
Everybody, and maybe it's not the most exciting thing is to talk about water and sewer, but when toilets don't flush and water's not coming like it did in the neighboring city during Tropical Storm Chantal, we never skipped a beat. We didn't have any industry shut down. We didn't have any businesses shut down. Restaurants were still operating. It's a big thing is, when you can't eat or cook at home, you displace a lot of people that normally would eat and cook at home, and they have to go out to restaurants. Well, then the restaurants were closed in that neighboring city, and so all those people had to go somewhere else, and that also drove up, our sales. If you take, 20, 30, 40,000 people from neighboring cities, and they have to come to your town to eat or we had, fast food restaurants that were running out of food. So, we try to make sure that we are prepared for major disasters like that. People were complaining online, well, why are we under such restrictions here in this town? No industry, no restaurants open, and they're running car washes in Graham. And that's because we were prepared and we had the infrastructure to be able to handle that. In the event of an emergency, and we didn't need to be under any water restrictions, and we really take a lot of pride in making sure that the city is run well, and I'm exceptionally proud of the work we're doing.
That's good. And so we've got a few voters here. We've got Pastor Cliff over there. We've got Daniel Merrill, and we've got Manuel. I know, and this is a new feed or whatever, but you said something earlier. You said that when voters are happy,
Right.
they tend not to vote as much.
That's right.
And so it almost kind of reminds me of prayer. People really pray when they need a miracle.
Amen.
But then it's like once they get the miracle, they stop praying because they feel like they've already gotten the miracle and they don't need it anymore. But the Bible tells us to pray without ceasing. And so there's some Christians who say we don't need to get involved at all in politics. We're just going to pray. We're going to read our Bibles. But I do believe that the Word of God teaches us that we need to be Christians who do take action. And that there are certain issues that I believe are taught in the Bible that do affect us when we're Christians and when we're in the public place. And so we do have to go out there and vote. And I believe one of those issues is that everybody should have the chance to live. And that's why one of the reasons I'm pro-life. I don't believe that women should be able to murder their babies after they've had been pregnant for 6 months or late-term abortions. I don't believe in abortion at all. And you're a pro-life candidate as well. Absolutely. Is that right?
Yes,
Can you tell me about that?
Sure. I have always been very pro-life. I've participated in the pro-life vigils there at the courthouse, and I think as a Christian, it's so interesting how the law handles that, isn't it? Legally, you can be in a car wreck and kill a pregnant woman and be charged legally for killing and murdering, even if it was not intentional. You took the lives of 2 people.
That's right.
But yet, when people want to find an excuse or want to feel like they want to undo things, they feel a lot more comfortable saying, well, I'm pro-choice, and not take into consideration the life that they're taking when they have an abortion. And I certainly.
And speaking of that, your daughter at 15 years old actually went to, was it North Carolina School of the Arts?
Yes, yes.
What were some of the things that they were teaching your daughter in that public school?
Oh gosh, how to go get a teenage abortion without your parents knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. You know, there are laws in place for a reason, and I think one of the things that was I was very fortunate about when she went to UNC School of the Arts was that we kept in constant communication with her, and certainly talked to her a lot about her faith growing up. But when you send them out into the world and they're faced with people that are not, that weren't raised and weren't raised in the church, and don't have the strong power of conviction and don't have faith, how they're going to respond to those kind of things. And
so in other words, if
yeah.
you grow up in a homeschooling environment and you grow up going to church, and then let's just say, and this is a completely hypothetical, you move to Philadelphia and then you come back, you know, things might change, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that it's really important to stay in contact with your kids, especially when they first leave. And, you know, she was coming back and reporting to us all of the things that were going on at that school that were quite disturbing, and the really the indoctrination and the grooming that they do of students to really kind of break down the communication that those students have with their parents, and really with their faith. They very much dissuade faith there at that school. And, you know, she was wearing a cross necklace, and had someone there in the administration said, you really shouldn't wear that cross necklace. That is, that makes people feel unsafe around
Yeah, can you, and I said this before, but can you imagine if they said that to a Muslim?
Right, yeah. Quite disturbing.
Yeah, so, and Daniel and Manuel, since this is a new live or whatever, I know you had a question before. Did you have any questions for Jennifer while she was here?
At this time, no.
Not at this time.
You enjoyed one of our events. You came to one of our ghost tours
Yes.
in downtown Graham, and had a good time there. And we have Big C concert that we hold downtown. We have some other concerts all throughout the year. We have Easter egg hunt that we personally sponsor, and we have all sorts of different veterans. We have our Veterans Day event coming up, our Veterans Day parade. We'll have food trucks and a festival afterwards. We have a Christmas parade also the first Saturday in December. So we always want people to come and visit Graham and spend your sales tax dollars there, so that people of Graham can really enjoy a great quality of life, and really enjoy living there, living the good life in Graham.
And it's funny, I live in Mebane. But my wife and I, we love downtown Graham.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And I mean, it's just the court square and everything there, and you can tell that it's well taken care of. And
well, it was designated, interesting point, it was designated a historic district back in 1983.
right.
Some other disinformation out there. I've not designated.
And did somebody say that you owned 40% of Graham or something?
That's ridiculous. I wish I owned. That's funny. And I certainly haven't designated as a historic district. I think I was 13 years old when the historic district was designated, and so yeah, just a little misinformation, and I think certainly. Either you'd have to really have your facts crossed, or just intentionally be trying to deceive voters to be putting information like that out. We also are not responsible for the school system, and any kind of issues that they've ever had with mold. The county commissioners handle that with ABSS, and we welcome people to come to our events, and certainly our city council meetings. We have plenty of chairs for everybody to sit in. And we'll bring in folding chairs if we're too full. We love to be able to, have great feedback from our community. It allows us to be able to make good decisions. And we got to get you to come and do a prayer for us before our meeting. It's one thing that we do is a prayer before our meeting, and always say the Pledge of Allegiance. And yeah, we'd love for you to come pray over our meeting.
You never know. You never know where Mike Zwick might be, and I might come by and do that. But if you're in Graham, North Carolina, please consider voting for Jennifer Talley tomorrow. She is the true conservative candidate, and she's not out there lying about her opponent. And it's sad that people have taken truth. And so just pray for her, pray that she wins. And I think about what you said again, that when people are happy, they tend not to vote, but when people are angry, then they tend to vote. So if it takes you being angry to vote tomorrow, be angry about what could happen.
Sent me a check for $500, and I'm endorsed by the North Carolina Police Benevolent Association. They did their research. They interviewed all the candidates. And if you can't trust police, well then, I don't know what else to know what else to say. But they certainly have done their research, and they certainly interviewed everybody, and they, make sure that we're safe. And we need to have a good relationship with our law enforcement. We need to keep our SRO officers in schools, and we certainly need to. Also, Bobby Chin is also running for city council. He was also endorsed by the Police Benevolent Association, and so was Jim Young.
Okay.
He runs Salvation Coffee in Burlington and lives in Graham. Bobby Chin's a veteran there in Graham, and he's a retired colonel.
Okay.
He was working in the Pentagon when 9/11 happened.
Wow.
And
Salvation Coffee, I like the name.
Yeah. I'm sure you would. Yeah, stop in there and give it a try. Yeah.
But get out and vote tomorrow.
Get out and vote.
Tell your friends, even if you don't live in Graham, maybe post this, repost this, or whatever, and pray.